Chapter 11. Brother Tedward, old friend, old pal. So, what we got, brother? Let's examine. Man discover the inner truth in the heart of the issue, in the depths of the whole thing. Like the kernel inside the nut, like the blue flame inside the gas fire, like the calm in the storm, see? Like in a Sherlock Holmes and a bush Dr. Watson, you see? What we got then? What? I said. What we got, man? Well, we got these letters. I had them all in front of me, while Leroy was rereading the pamphlet, The Great White Light, by the so-called General Harry Witherspoon, one of the many aliases used by old Harry. You know, man, first time I read this thing, the mind kind of said to me, have pity on the man with less than you. I mean, it's clear Rasta said that the man write this is seriously deranged, you understand? I mean, we can all have feelings generating love between all of the brethren and sistren, you see. Seem like some people is born to be sour, like the lime pon the tree, or the vinegar placed pon the chip them. As usual, I had to nod my head as though I understood what Leroy was saying when he was using his religious language. I had to admit, though, that comparing old Harry's mind to vinegar was a good way of describing it. Also caustic, soda, and urine, I was thinking, as Leroy was talking. As to the limes business, I know for a fact that Leroy's never seen a lime tree in his life, none unless the things grow in Sefton Park or Prince's Avenue. But there it was on the table in front of us. A whole pile of nasty letters that had been cut up from magazines and newspapers, or written in some funny way by hand. They were nasty, and they were aimed at me. It didn't take a genius to work that one out. And now Leroy was involved, and I was wondering whether he would get himself into a bother over it, which is what Claudia had warned me about. Or would he sort it out for good? As I said earlier, the die is cast. I had the most recent letter in front of me. Ted Hamilton, sacrificial victim and paschal lamb of the new age for white Britain. God save the Queen and Army. Don't ever forget, scum, that lambs aren't just for Sunday dinner, and others of a different colour will fuel the sacrificial pyre. As well as all the swastikas and all that stuff, the blood dripping and the overall, what you could only call violence of the thing. There were some things puzzling me. But Leroy got in first. You know, brother Tedward, old friend, old pal, this letter here. Look at this letter, man. The one you're staring at, right? Got it? You're a good lad. Well, that letter, I reckon, was written by the same fella that wrote this bleeding so-called History of Britain. You know, everything in the world was British, and British means white, and all that crap. What I'm saying is this General Harry, whatever his name is, he's definitely the same bloke as the poison pen one. Now, you might be asking me, why? And I tell you, it's intuition, okay? How come you, an innocent fella like you, comes to get his hands on so many documents that seem to exude absolute fascist shite? Explain that. And also, I tell you another thing. Notice this business of White Britain in the letter. Don't that remind you of this white light press business? And also the title of the history was The Great White Light, wasn't it? And what's the common factor here? No question, no doubt in my mind, that it's that old Harry bugger. And I promise you, I'm going to get the proof. You know, Leroy, it's been going on so long that I'm kind of getting used to it. That's the danger, pal. We gotta root out the business. Sort out these things. Fellow who wrote that history needs something removing from between his knees and below his waist. What, you mean his? His, yes, I do mean his. if he's got any. Testicles, that is. Because people like that are out to bollocks up the world for everybody. And as the good book say, an eye for an eye, a bollock for a bollock. Understand? So how? I said. Well, Ted, old pal, I told you about the, shall we call it breaking and entering already, remember? But now I got the day and the time. Simple. Your ma's wedding. You get it? I know there's a do at the house later, isn't there? And that old Harry had been given an invitation. And also that he can't turn down something for nothing. Even if it's a dose. And that's when I'll do it. Ah, I thought to myself. Thing is, Alf Speed said that sad excuse for an only living parent of mine might have actually named the day. The wedding is going to be at St. Sylvester's because, believe it or not, Alf Speed is a Catholic, despite his name. I should have known from the business of drinking so much Guinness, and because Alf has never been married before, and my mother had never actually been married in a church, so they can have a church wedding according to what's known as canon law, or in this case shotgun law. So, my mother, with 7 or 8 kids sitting next to her, is going to have a church wedding. But God is good, as they say. Then there's going to be a reception for a select few at the Harry Piper Hotel in Aintree, followed by an evening of general get-together with food and drink provided. See, the thing is, Ted, once we get the definite proof that the old bastard is responsible, then we can start planning out how to deal with this stuff, you know. We get a solution and we work upon it. Find out if old Harry is the same fella as this bloody poison pen character, and I reckon we got the thing in the bag, and we can save the heartbreak from Claudia until the world is right again. Far as it will ever be for a poor black Mike like me. And we can save the heartbreak from Claudia until the world is right again. Far as it will ever be for a poor black man like me, you see. Until the world is right again. Far as it will ever be for a poor hotel man like me.